What's up, Formula One fans? Welcome back to another episode here on F1 America. This one is a highly requested videos from our viewers, and that is on the fantasy league. Kind of how do you even use this thing? It can be a little bit confusing. So I'm going to jump into a screen share so I can just kind of help highlight a little bit more for you. Okay. So let's jump in here. And basically, so this is on the website. Maybe I'll cut in from, something to show you on the phone as well. So then you can see that because slightly different. But basically, um, it gives you a little bit of a rundown on how to play, but it's kind of confusing. Okay, and then I'll give you even some specifics on kind of how our league is working as well. So it's all set up pretty similar to the app. So if you're in the app, you should be able to kind of follow along just the same. Um, so basically, what you do is you create a team. Um, so here we can go pick your team. I've already got my team together. So what I can do is I'll show you. We will go to back to home, back to leagues. So if you guys see leagues, you'll have this in the app as well. Okay, so leagues. Then what happens is, we have our own league. You don't see it here until you go to view all. You have to do this in the app as well. So then you can see F1 America Fantasy 2023, right? Guys, we have 36 teams in our league. Super cool. We're actually not sure entirely who everyone is. So if you guys could comment on the video and let us know what your team name is. So, because we're going to have some prizes and swag and different stuff throughout the season as people are winning, but we're not sure exactly who everyone is. So trying to get that to you has been a little difficult. So if you guys are watching the show and you guys are on the team, please let us know what your team name is and things. We want to get you guys some cool stuff. We appreciate your support on the channel as well. So if you click into F1 America Fantasy, this happens to be the team. Okay. Here's all of our teams. Awesome. Exciting. We love it, man. It's so cool. So my team is Sailing Stone. I'll just pull up so you can see. This was my previous race for Baku. This is kind of my driver setup, my lineup. So basically, guys, you get 5 drivers to choose from and 2 constructors. Okay, now you have a set price that you can spend or set budget. You can't go over, so you have to work within those parameters. And you can go ahead and pick. Let's see. Let me just go ahead and let me do that. So let's see. I'll use one of these. So it allows you to set up 3 teams. So I've done it just for the sake of setting them up. But really I've only been playing with my team 1, and that is we're only allowing 1 team in our league. So I just picked team 1, that's the team. But what I'll do is I'll show you this team as just an idea of how everything is kind of working. We'll see if they'll let me change. So I think, well, we'll get into that, but see if it lets me change more than 1 driver. So this team will get penalized now because we're in the season. So this is basically what it's going to look like. And then here is all of the prices or the value of the drivers. Click constructor. There's the value of the constructor. Okay. So again, 5 drivers, 2 constructors. And so you want to pick wisely, right? You want to be able to kind of spend your budget in getting the best points possible. It's been interesting because if you guys have been watching the show as our post race and we talk about fantasy and stuff, you'll know it's really conflicting because my fantasy team is not necessarily drivers that I want to win in real life, right? The drivers that I've been rooting for are not winning right now, so they're not on my fantasy team. But it's been really interesting. The dynamic for me watching the races has changed a little bit too. The emotional side of seeing the person, win that you don't really want to win, it's been a little bit different because now I'm earning points by them winning. So there's a little bit more behind it. So that's been interesting. This is our first season playing and being moderators on F1 Fantasy. So we're learning as we go as well. So if you guys are new, feel free, like we're all kind of new and learning this. Okay. So you can add a driver. Again, there's a price. Also lets you know the percentage of how many people have picked that driver. So I'm gonna pick, I'm gonna pick Fernando Alonso. One, because he's doing really, really well. He made that move to Aston Martin and they're crushing. He's got 3 podium finishes and then just finished 4. So 3 third places and a 4th. And for $9 million, that's a really good buy. Okay. So that's who I'm going for there. Max has been leading the championship. However, you can see here with season points, Sergio actually has higher points overall as far as fantasy points. Okay, Max is leading most points in the championship, but Sergio. So let's pick Sergio as kind of like he's up there. He's crushing. Okay, so we can see again, all right, well, Max has a lot of fantasy points. He's leading the championship. He's really expensive, but I'm going to throw him in and see kind of maybe where my budget is after that. Okay. This is going to be look similar to my fantasy team, actually. So you guys don't know. But I do change it every week. So we'll get into that, kind of the strategy behind that and so forth too. So we won't spend too much more time just on develop like cars and drivers, but let's just pick another one. Who else is doing good? Charles Leclerc just won, but he's expensive. So let's see. Carlos is a little bit cheaper. So let's see my budget here. I'm at 28 million. So let's find a constructor before. Yeah, see. So all right, if I go with Aston Martin, who's doing really well, that sets me up good. But then it only leaves me 21 million, and I have to find another driver and a constructor. So I got to say, these constructors aren't doing quite as hot. I'm going to get rid of Carlos because he's just not. Actually, you know what? Let's keep Carlos. And let's get rid of Max. Even though Max is producing, I want to see if I can get 2 other solid drivers and see if that'll work or not. Okay, just a theory. Okay. So then let's go back to constructors. I want Red Bull's constructors because they're cranking and nobody's looking close. So they're going to spend a lot, or they're going to pick up a lot of points for you. Okay, so then we'll go back to drivers. Who do we have? George Russell's driving pretty good. Let's maybe get George Russell. What does that leave us? Okay, 2 million. And we can't get anybody else. Okay, so sorry, George, you're gone. We're going to go with, let's go with Pierre. And then we have 12 million left. Let's see who else. Let's go Lance. So there we have our fantasy team. Still 5 million. So this isn't indicative of what my team looks like, but this will give you an idea. Okay. Now we can continue that. Then what happens? You see here, you get a selected driver that has 2 times, it's called the DRS boost. So basically you pick a driver who you think is going to be the best for the weekend. Boom. I think Sergio is going to get the most amount of points. So he's getting double points. So you pick a driver who gets double points. Now you come to, okay, we'd have to confirm. So basically, because I'm doing more than 2 transfers, so once you have your set team, then you get 2 transfers any weekend, and it needs to be done, I believe, just before qualifying on Saturday. So what I do is I will set my alarm. I woke up at 4 a.m. this past week to watch the first practice, see who's performing well at the track, and then make adjustments to my fantasy team. So it's important to kind of follow along if you want to do well. You don't have to, but I do because I know different teams are going to be performing well at different tracks, and I want to be able to see if I can maximize my points. Okay. So we'll say confirm changes. I'm going to get negative points, you can see here, because you only allowed 2 transfers. Anything after that, you get penalized, but you can make the transfer, right? So I'll just say confirm changes. And then let's go back into manage team here. We'll do the same one so we can see. And we'll go to, let's see, see, it is kind of confusing. So let's see. In the app, it seems to be a little bit easier. Let's see. No. Name. See, so we'll talk about it and then we'll go into how to actually do it, I guess. So go back to rules. Now, so you can get into scoring too. Here's the points criteria as far as like, how many points you get based off of what place for all of those. Same with constructor. All that gets confusing. I just try and make the best choices for all that and let all these just kind of see. There's the sprint results and then race results. So you can get points for overtaking and all sorts of things like that. You can get a lot of points. Fastest pit stop, I believe fastest lap too, things like that. So there's lots of different points. So also if you are just starting and you haven't had maybe the best of luck this season, or maybe you're just starting, you missed a few races. There's 23 races this season. There's a lot of chances to catch up. So we'll talk about now is the chips. So we talked about DRS boost. That is every weekend you just get to pick a driver who you think is going to do well and give them 2 times the points. Now they have this thing called chips, kind of like little cheat codes that you get to use. There is 6 of them, and you can only use 1 per weekend, and you can only use one time throughout the season. So I'm choosing to spend mine on like sprint weekends because you can maximize the amount of points that you're getting overall in the weekend. So then you can maximize your points by using some of the cheats. Okay. I didn't use one in Baku yet. There's still some stuff I want to I'm trying to maximize and see how close I can stay up without. I think I'm the highest team in our series that has not used a boost. So I think all the people, first, second, third above me have used chips. If I choose wrong on a wrong weekend, it could really kind of screw me. So you have no idea, right? It's a bunch of luck, but you would try and pretend like we know. So basically chips, it tells you here. So there's one that's transfers. So that basically means that you can fine tune your races or like make more than just the 2, I believe. Let's see. Oh, this is all. Scratch that. You can only make the 2, just like I said. These are more. So is this going to tell us more about the chips? Again, it's confusing. That's why we're doing this video for you. Okay. It's not going to tell us exactly the chips, but I'll tell you. So there's one chip that is like unlimited. You get to basically spend as much as you want, so no budgets. You can pick all the top drivers, all the top teams, and all of that, and try and maximize your amount of points for the weekend, right? So that's a good one. One is like no negative. So if you have a driver that doesn't finish, you get negative points, right? They DNF or something like that, you get negative points. So no negatives. That's one that you can use. I'm choosing to use it during like a rain weekend because that's when you always get a bunch of wild cards and something happens and who you expect to win doesn't usually win because they had a crash out or somebody hit them or something, right? So no negatives. That's a cool one. There is 3 times the points. So you get your DRS, which is 2 times, but then you can also choose a driver to get 3 times. So that's another good one. Another one of them is I think like an autopilot where it will automatically put the 2 times DRS and everything onto the driver that had the most amount of points. Okay, so that again would be something like maybe use that on a sprint weekend because you get to jump to your driver that had the most points for the sprint and your driver who had the most points for the main Grand Prix. So strategy that way is kind of important. I think you can maximize your ability to get points. Okay. Let's see if we can actually figure out for you how to do that. So go in here, pick my team out of the league. Okay, so you can look at their performance here. So oh, there we go. So sorry guys. So back on your like main management team, you guys will see applied chips right here. So that's how you're going to apply the chips. There we go. There's the chips. So limitless, that's the spending one. Wild card, let's see if it gives us make unlimited changes to your team before the next Grand Prix. So I believe that allows you, obviously, to make more transfers without penalized. I think you can possibly use that even after qualifying, but I'm not sure. Okay. Final fix. Oh, so there you go. So chips can be used after the qualifying race. So that means you can make transfers and stuff after. So if somebody qualifies, I think you can throw them in there and get good points for that. Autopilot, that's one there. They picked your best scoring one for you, no negatives, and then the extra DRS. Okay. So there. It looks like so basically you can choose again one per this race. So I could say, okay, let's go limitless this race, continue. No cost cap restriction. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Since this is not my team for our fantasy league. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep Sergio. I'm gonna see constructors first. Who do I think is gonna score the most amount of points? Let's see. Well, you know what, Mercedes. Let's just say they're gonna, you know what, they're picking up. They've got their third as far as points in the F1 fantasy. So let's throw that in there and let's see. So let's go add driver. We're gonna add Max because he's crushing it. We're gonna add Lewis. We're still gonna do Fernando because he's just getting a lot of points. And then let's see who else is. I think Charles is gonna do good. So boom, there we go. Setting that lineup for this week's Grand Prix Miami. Boom. Then we send that. And then once you confirm, so make sure that you guys confirm because we've had a couple people think they made changes and then maybe close out of the app and it doesn't actually make the changes. So confirm those changes and then boom, sweet. So you'll see that and then it will show down on, you know, the bottom of the team, your limited list is activated or whatever chip you choose. And that's basically it, guys. So I again recommend using those chips on bigger weekends, sprint weekends. I believe there's 6 sprints this year, so we just had one in Baku, and then we're gonna have 5 more. So that's gonna be like the biggest. That's going to be the biggest bet is maximizing your points there to use those and yeah just pay attention to who's doing good at what races because little techniques as we know Sergio Perez now being deemed the king of the streets because he's really good at street circuits. We have a lot of those on the calendar, so guys, I hope this video is helpful. It's a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I think it's a little bit more in depth. I watched some other videos and it was super confusing. If you guys have any more specific questions, I believe the app is pretty similar as far as what it looks like and how to use it. I think so. I won't do that unless you guys need one specifically. Yeah, if anyone have more questions, again, comment or send us a DM or something about your team name. If you're in our fantasy, if you're not, go ahead and join our fantasy and then let us know what your team name is so we can get you guys some swag and stuff too. Yeah, awesome guys. Well, we'll see you out there on the fantasy team. And yeah, wish you all the best. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining us.